Howdy folks, today we are going to be installing the PR ignition coil set on my normal 2011 BMW 335. It has the N55 engine, meaning it is just a single twin scroll turbo. It's not twins like the N54. But the thing is, there's no instructions anywhere that I can find to install these on that, even though these are specifically for that. So the goal of today is to document me installing this, and hopefully I can write a guide for people and so they can do it in the future. I don't actually have an upgraded turbo, but I've been trying to track down an electrical issue which, from what I understand, may be related to poor insulation on aftermarket Delphi coils. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this torn down, just like normal. I'm not gonna cover that, and get down to where we're actually gonna do the install. But before I do that, I guess I should cover what came in the kit. So we've got our actual coils. These are pretty beefy. We've got our plugs. We've got the adapters that plug from the harness into right now. And these holders, which are, I don't know how that's going to work out. I'll let you know how those go on. That's the biggest question I have. Okay, so here we are. We've got all of the covers off and the ignition coils are exposed. Got our 6 there. Now, I was just looking at this and I was confused. Remember how I said I was concerned about those brackets earlier and how they go on? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that these go like that, and that right there, that bolt hole or slot fits down into where the fuel rail is what I would imagine. So you just loosen that fuel rail bolt and slip that down in there and then tighten it back up, and then that holds the ignition coils like that. My concern was the other ones in the middle, because there's only 2 bolts on this fuel rail, there and there. And there's nothing to hold, and they only gave you 2 of those L brackets. So what I think they're wanting you to do here is take these bad boys, and basically just tie them together into a line like this. So you have like that. And then you have your other L bracket here. That's the only way I can think that they go on. So that's how I'm going to try to install them right now. And I will let you know once that's done, but I think that's it, and this should actually be pretty straightforward. Okay, so a few minutes in, I had to take the air filter box out. I guess I didn't have to, but it makes it a lot easier to get down in there where the bolt is. And really the first thing I'm noticing is gonna be an issue. If it's an issue for me, it's probably gonna be an issue for other people too, because, it's just how it works. Is not really this cable, but this part of the harness is in the way. It's gonna fit behind there, okay, so that should be fine. But this vacuum line, or PCV line, or whatever the fuck it is, I don't know what we're gonna do about that, because that runs right through the middle. I might be able to just squeeze it in there and not have a problem, but it definitely helped to undo this line and get it out of the way to install the bracket. That made my life a lot easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other bracket installed back here. One of these, whatever. Get it installed back here, and I will continue the update then. Okay, both brackets are on. This one I actually did not get on correctly the first time. It was just sort of halfway in there. When I tightened it down the rest of the way, it just slipped out. So make sure you get that tightened down all the way and it doesn't slip out. This one, again, a little bit harder to get to, but not hard at all in the grand scheme of things as far as bolts on this car that are hard to get to. So now I guess I'm just gonna put the new coils in place, and we'll see how they fit. I will update you on any fitment difficulties, or if it goes in smooth relatively, I'll just let you know when I'm done. The PCV hose or vacuum hose or whatever that I was mentioning earlier needs to go underneath this first coil, right in there. It won't reach if you try to run it over. It does fit, it's tight, but it fits, and it will just snap back into place and snap back on there, and you're good to go. It may not hold there perfectly, but it'll work. So that is how you do that. On to the rest. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do to make my life a little easier. This is just more like a tip in case you can think of it. Before you install the next coil on, well, before you install this coil, put the bracket on this one, the connecting bracket. And then before you install the coil that goes here, put your next connecting bracket on this side. That should make it a lot easier without having to like fiddle and hold it in place. And it should just go together easier. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bracket on this side, pop this one in there, and so on, and until we're done. All right, we've hit our first actual snag, and I think I read about this, so I should have known. That's the post that holds the stock airbox on, and as you can tell, they don't fit. It's gotta go. I gotta give it the chop chop. So I guess I'm gonna cut that off with a hacksaw or something, and then yeah, I didn't really want to do that, but I guess that's what we're doing. Back in a bit. Well, that only took forever, but I got this cut off. I used some sandpaper to clean it up a little bit. I'm in a new house, so I don't have my hacksaw, so I had to use a pocket knife and a chisel and a hammer, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. It was a little sketchy, but it worked. Let's just hope my intake manifold doesn't blow up next time the car runs. We'll see. It'll probably be fine. All right, so just as I suspected, I'm an idiot. Just kidding, no really. Just remember this, I accidentally left this wire bundle as part of the harness out over. I didn't tuck it behind here when I had everything loose. So I had to loosen both bolts on the fuel rail so I can get this far enough down there and then tighten everything back down to get that nice and pushed down. This one as well. Honestly, it looks like it's supposed to go there, but it doesn't want to stay there. So we're just gonna leave it like that. But got those wires tucked away. I'm gonna finish the install. I have one more to go. And then we'll pull the old coils out and finish everything up. Okay, my next big problem came in the form of, once again, this wire bundle right here, the one that I had tucked down earlier. So if you run it around up top like it's supposed to be, you're not gonna be able to get this last coil in, so I had to take this out, and I'm just gonna run it and cut it out a little early and run it between those last two intake runners. So instead of going around there, I'm just gonna put it there, and that should be okay. And so that, other than that, the last one should go in pretty easy. That was a little bit of a headache. I was like, crap, I just put that there. But, you know, it works. So let's continue on again. Okay, guys, so these bitches are in. Now, just to pull all of these coils out. You know, it's weird. These coils, they seriously only have about 1,000 miles on them, and they're new Delphi coils, but you know, at higher RPMs, I get some sort of issue with the BSD communication line, and my car overvolts. So from what I've been reading on the internet, because that's obviously the best place to get car advice, is that these Delphi branded coils, although technically compatible and recommended by BMW, well, they're not recommended by BMW because they're not BMW parts, and that's the problem, have different insulation here at the top. Maybe you can see that a little bit better. This black plastic epoxy stuff. And I guess the BMW one is white and it's a different grade, even though it is technically the same coil. So I've been told that that could be the problem. This is the whole reason I'm installing these PR coils. People in the neighborhood. And I really hope it solves my issue. If it doesn't, at least we'll have gotten a good guide out of this. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to pull these 6 coils out, and once we're done with that, or once I'm done with that, we will get started on the harnesses, or the harness adapters, and we'll get all those plugged in, and then we'll get the actual coil plugs on there. So I will see you once I'm done pulling those out. All right, so got all the coils pulled out. And now we are going to install these adapters. And these are basically gonna run from the harness here over into our PR coil. So that's gonna plug in there difficultly. There we go. Perfect. And then we are going to take our harness wire and plug it in. Excuse me 1 second while I do that. Okay, that's it. I don't know if it's gonna snap or anything. Oh, I guess it did snap. It does snap right there. Now the thing I'm a little concerned about is the routing of these wires. I guess they just continue to run straight across and run next to the actual ignition lines. So I'm gonna go, I guess that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and run the other 5. Okay, all the wires are on. That was really no problem. I still don't really know if there's any better way to do that wire routing. It's looks a little weird, but I guess we'll go with it for now. Next up, these guys right here, these fucking guys. So obviously, this guy goes right down in here, and this guy goes zoop, zoop, just like that. So I'm gonna dig up my dielectric grease from somewhere and put these on. I'll be back. Okay, so everything's installed. I'm gonna just do a test run real quick. So obviously the stock intake's gonna need to be modified I gotta cut this off. I don't know if it's gonna actually work with the stock airbox or not. I might need to end up getting like a BMS filter or something like that, but I really did not want to do that. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I got the fucking MAF sensor or whatever plugged in. Let's go flash this thing. We gotta flash the new MHD map. Let's go ahead and put her. Let's see. I like to do 2+. Okay, like I was saying before, Bluetooth connected and so rudely disconnected it. I like to do stage 2+ at 91 octane just for knock stuff because it's a little bit less aggressive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the options and we are going to say Precision Raceworks Coil Kit installed. Check. Haha. I'll leave everything else the same. Actually, I'm going to turn the bubbles down because that's been a little high anyway for me. Gets a little annoying after a while. Okay, map right. Let's do this. And we'll just wait for this to finish and we'll be back. All right, guys, moment of truth. Holy crap, it starts. Let's see how it sounds out here. It's actually running good. Cool. Well, you know, that was almost painless. Got a little surging going on, but that, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, we can, okay, seems okay. Let's warm up for a minute here and we'll get some revs and see what happens. I don't know what's up with that. Let's turn the air on. Yeah, the idle is a little weird. No? Okay. Seems to have sorted itself out. Alright guys, well, that is that. I'm going to put my car back together. And, okay, update. Stock airbox 100% does not fit. I cut this back corner piece off here, off of the bottom part, where it holds the filter, and that fits again. And you know, it's once that top's on, it would be reasonably well placed. Really the issue is the coils hit on the bottom of this. So if there's a way to bring this intake up, or this part of the intake up, and just bring the whole thing up a little bit, that'd probably be better. I might just go with the BMS intake, or maybe AFE, because I still kind of want it enclosed in here. The problem is I need to figure out what will actually fit. So that's next. Okay, so I managed to get the stock intake to fit, sort of, kind of. I mean, it doesn't really fit at all, honestly, if we're being honest. So, I mean, this part sort of just goes way up. That's way higher than it's supposed to sit. It's actually not sitting on a support peg there or the second one back there. It's sort of just floating here free. I mean, it's fairly secure. I got the wires back there. I got the wires back there on the holders too. I could not, obviously, get the engine cover back on. And I couldn't get that back on because I couldn't fit this piece. And now with enough trimming, I probably could. But I don't know that it's really worth it. So what I've done, actually it goes this way. So I tried to trim here because that was running into, you know, like these front coils. That one was pretty much okay. Then they were also hitting on the bottom here, and I had to trim in the back too to try to get it actually on around that other coil. So all in all, I'm not really sure that trying to run that is even worth it. We may be able to find a way to mount the engine cover just there. But things that I would think would be helpful, I need to find an aftermarket intake that'll work. Possibly the engine intake might be the only one that really would be able to be small enough to go up and over and not look weird. A cowl delete would probably, I mean, it might be okay. The thing is, there's just a lot of wires down there now that are no longer protected by this cover, and they're not sitting on there nicely. I just zip tied them together with some really small black zip ties, so you can't really see it. So it's pretty janky, but it should work. I'm going to take it for a drive and see if it's still broken, or if I made it worse. I probably made it worse. All right, guys. Till next time. Oh, and I know what you're thinking. Does it clear the hood? That's a good question, because I don't know. I'm gonna go with yes. Sweet.